Move over, old Mag 7. There's a new gang in town. Today, we're going to talk about the new Mag 7. This is a group of cowboys who may be replacing the old Magnificent 7 of yesteryear. We're going to talk about hot sectors from 2025 that have moved into the new Mag 7 and I feel will continue even if they pause for a little bit. And then we're going to talk about emerging candidates that will be the emerging replacements for the new Mag 7. And finally, we're going to talk about one Contrarian Trade who I think will be another member of the new Mag 7. My name is Keith Richards. I'm President and Chief Portfolio Manager of ValueTrend Wealth Management, and this is the Smart Money, Dumb Money Show, and it's 2026, and because you're watching, you are smart money. Okay, well, let's start off with talking about something you guys already know about, which is who were the old Mag 7. And you guys know the answer to this. We can take a look at my chart here and you can see, it's familiar names: Google, Amazon, Apple, Meta, Microsoft, Nvidia, and Tesla. What I want you to notice on these charts is that with the exception of maybe Google, which is in a pretty nice uptrend despite its pullback, and Tesla, which has actually quite nicely broken out recently, most of these charts, 5 of those 7 cowboys, are kind of looking weak. They look like they're falling off their horses, don't they? Amazon, totally flat for the year of 25. Apple, even though it has been in an uptrend, it kind of looks like it's breaking that uptrend. Meta, well, what do I need to say? Downtrends be downtrends. Same with Microsoft, doesn't look so great. Nvidia, surprisingly flat over the last quarter of 25. And so what we have here is a weakening group on the whole with only 2 cowboys holding the range. The rest of them are kind of feeling sick. So who's the new guys in town? Well, I'm looking at a few of the names that worked very well in 2025 as continuing in 2026, even though some of them are a bit overbought. I'll tell you why I think they will continue on being strong even after a potential pullback. Then we're going to talk about a couple of emerging superstar cowboys, and finally, one of the ones that I think might surprise you. But let's take a look at the group. We've got the aluminum producers, the copper producers, the oil producers, the gas producers, and then a couple of the commodities that are considered rare earth commodities used extensively these days. I've talked about these before, and that's platinum and palladium. These are not the producers charts I've got here. They're the actual commodities. And finally, gold and silver. I'm bunching them together as a precious metals. So let's start from the top with aluminum. And aluminum producers, you put a little dollar sign if you're looking on stockcharts.com like I do. And the aluminum producers index, Dow Jones, you can see made a nice cup formation, broke out, kind of looks good, maybe facing a little bit of resistance right now as the chart gets a little overbought. If we take a look at RSI momentum, it is a little overbought, but MACD is just getting started and money flow looks good. It's not yet overbought. So my thoughts are it may pull back a bit in the near term. Craig and I had some aluminum. We sold it, but we would buy back in on a pullback because we do think that this is an emerging sector and a new cowboy for 2026. Copper miners, well, COPX is the US producers for the copper miners, and you can see this is one of the best charts you're going to see today, guys. So pay attention, class. This here is a long base, and there's an expression on Wall Street formulated for very good reasons. It says the longer the base, the greater the case. And I can tell you, I've been doing this for a very, very long time, as many of you know, and I can tell you that long bases, like what copper producers did, when they break out any kind of long base, they're explosive and they last for years. I'm thinking of that long base that Microsoft did a number of years ago. It based and based and based and then broke out, and we know what Microsoft has done. So copper miners look very exciting. Yes, they're a little overbought. There's RSI, MACD's a little overbought, and money flow is even diverging a little negatively. Wouldn't surprise me if it pulled back So again, any pullback I think will be an opportunity. Probably not the best time to buy today, but I do think that there's opportunity coming, and I think these guys will be one of the strong Cowboys of the year. Gold and silver, well, very much the story of 2025, wasn't it? I mean, big breakout, especially on silver. I did call that in March. I said that silver would outproduce gold. I was right, but both went up. You can see, largely based on silver, it's had a nice run lately. Gold is consolidating a little bit more, but they both look fantastic. You can't argue with this chart, and I do think there's an argument to continue holding gold and silver. Are they going to pull back? Well, you can see, RSI is diverging negatively. MACD histogram is diverging negatively. Generally speaking, though, MACD is heading up. It's a little overbought. So it would not surprise me if we saw gold and silver, especially silver, and we're going to talk about that in a minute, pullback. I think any pullbacks on these two metals will be opportunistic. Okay, a couple of the emerging sectors within my new Mag 7. Platinum. Well, platinum, PPLT, this is the physical platinum. It's an ETF, but it represents the physical platinum. There are producers out there, but there's no ETF that I could find that just represented the producers, so I thought I'd show you the chart of the metal. But same idea as we looked at with copper. Huge long base. Better the base, better the case. Remember that. This base has been going on since like 2020 and before. Breakout, and man, that is one powerful breakout. Yes, it's pulling back. Yes, it got way overbought. And you can see that on money flow. You can see that on RSI. Overbought, to be sure. Needing a pullback. That's all good though, because breakouts from long bases like this are huge. And I do think that any pullback in platinum on this breakout from the overbought position it's in will be extremely opportunistic. Keep an eye on this one. Palladium, PALL is the ETF ticker. Again, it's the physical palladium because I couldn't find a representation of the group of palladium producers. But this is another beautiful technical formation. And again, if you've not read my books, if you've not taken my course, this is one of the ones I talk about. I mostly talk about breakouts. In fact, it's one of my favorite things to look at, hence the name of my book, Sideways. I like sideways formations and then they break out. It can be very powerful. But this is called a cup with handle, and you can see the rounded. It was, in a downtrend, started rounding up. The high started getting higher. You could call that a little bit of a base breakout, but look at how round it looks. That is a very, very, very bullish formation, guys. It got overbought. You can see that on the charts here, and now it's pulling back. Lots of opportunity. If I erase this a little bit, I just want to show you that if you look at the way cup and handle formations work, is they form the cup, which it did, they form a handle, and they pull back to the handle. So that's what's happening here. If we see support somewhere in the 130 area or so, as long as it holds above that, you'll probably see palladium move higher over time. Okay, the final trade I wanted to talk about for 2026, the last cowboy to represent the Mag 7s, in my opinion, the new Mag 7s, is oil and gas, the energy sector specifically. Now, I've talked a lot about gas in 25, and it has shown some positive movement, but I think the group has been very overlooked between oil and gas. And I wanted to show you a chart of silver compared to oil and gas. Why do I want to show you that? Because there's a relationship. So let's take a look at that relationship. And this chart goes back to 1989, courtesy of Rosenberg Research. And you can see here that if we take the silver to oil ratio, and we take the price of silver, which is something like $73 today as I record this, we take the price of gold, which is something like $4,300 and change as I record this. You divide gold into silver, which gives you a very small number, but then multiply it by 100 and you get that ratio. So you can see that typically the ratio doesn't go into the one area. And in fact, remember, you're multiplying by 100. But in 2020, we did see silver to oil spike along with gold, and it went over 0.5. It went to about 0.6. Well, what's happening right now? we have a silver to gold ratio. In fact, if we do that little calculation of my 73 divided by 4370, I think it is, then you end up with about 1.6 right now after multiplying by 100. And that's what they've done here on this chart. In fact, it was a little bit below 1.5 at that point. It's now right up here. And this is historically high, which means that silver in the moment is pretty overbought. Again, you don't argue with that trend. I like silver and gold. That's why I mentioned them a few minutes ago. But it does also show us that oil is oversold. How do we know that? Because the last time this happened, when silver versus oil spiked so high, oil, as you may recall, went up a lot after 2020. In fact, it rose almost double over that next few years. So keep this in mind, because silver is very overbought. On a relative basis, doesn't mean silver is going to fall, but the price discrepancy, the relationship is skewed. So my opinion is that this paints a picture for potential opportunity sometime in 2026 for oil and gas. All right, well, let's take a look at the oil and gas chart. I'm using the iShares Canadian ETF, XEG on Toronto. It's a great representation of oil and gas, and I think Canadian oil and gas might do okay in 26. You can see that it's been stuck under a wall, a lid, I should say, and all it needs is a catalyst to break out. What could that catalyst be? Well, I think that there's a need for oil and gas to fund and to power all this AI development. We've talked about that before. Also, let's face it, it's probably a pretty good value when you compare it to many of the sectors that have led the way in 25. So my thoughts are that oil and gas will be something to watch in 26 if this breaks out. Remember, we just looked at copper. Remember, we looked at a number of different basing securities like Palladium and Platinum that did their own kind of bases. When they broke out, they were powerful. If oil and gas sees a breakout, and these are the producers, if you see this chart break out, I'm going to just say, hang on to your hats, because this could be very exciting. And I think the setup is there. We need the power. It's undervalued. It's overlooked. Everybody hates it. Probably a good place to be in 26. So that's going to be my favorite pick of this list for 26, although I think all 7 of these Cowboys are part of the new Magnificent 7. For the year, you know me, I will come back at the end of the year and I will talk about my picks and see if we were right. But I'm convinced we're going to hit more than just a couple of them being outperformers in 2026 as the new Mag 7 Cowboys. So we'll look forward to talking to you next week. And in the meantime, keep your cowboy hats on. Hey, thanks for watching. I hope you got value out of this episode. Please like and subscribe below. We're trying to grow the channel, and it would really be doing us a big favor. I'm presenting ideas every week on trades that we're actually looking at ValueTrend. And by the way, I don't just talk the talk, I walk the walk. I have been a portfolio manager for 35 years. And in fact, I was one of the very early pioneers in technical analysis here in Canada. On my website, valuetrend.ca, you will see a link for our online trading course. And this course is a complete money management system. I do encourage you to take a good look at that and consider taking it. I priced it extremely low because I want retail investors, that's you, to take the course and get value out of it. It's literally my 30 plus years of experience put into one complete step-by-step course. And honestly, I wish that I had had something like this when I was an early investor. It really will stop you from making so many mistakes. I also suggest you subscribe to our Never Miss an Opportunity program, which is our blog and our newsletter. There, you're going to get ongoing ideas, tons of charts, lots of trading ideas. And by the way, we never, ever solicit. We don't send you junk, spam, and stuff like that to try to get your business. It's for information, because part of my passion is to teach retail investors how to invest properly. I've been doing this, as I said, for 35 years, and I hope that I'm able to pass on some of the things that I've learned through this career as both a pioneer in technical analysis in Canada and a longtime portfolio manager. Thanks for watching. Don't forget, push like, push subscribe. See you next time.